You know, it's one thing to see images of the flames and to hear about the destruction, but when you're actually there looking at an entire town that's basically been wiped out, it's pretty unbelievable. And Chief Bachman points out that it's harder than you might think to judge the speed of a passing car. He said sometimes the PD gets a lot of complaints about a particular road, so they bring the old trailer out and realize it actually wasn't as big of a problem as people imagined. Earlier this afternoon, you could still see shattered glass here at Toby's. Since then, the glass has been replaced, and now the only evidence that remains of last night's terror is this memorial that's been set up for Tim. We're on Avenue J, and it's blocked off as far as you can see down there. Also on Taylor Street, from here at Avenue J all the way down past Avenue K. But you can bet they will be happy to take this sign down and replace it with the new number, which is 104,553. Say the person said 2 people had been shot and were dead. That's when investigators started arriving at the scene. Here's just a sampling of some of the articles that were published in everything from trade magazines to mainstream publications. This morning, City Council gave city staffers the go-ahead to pursue eminent domain if that's what it comes to, but they say they don't expect that to happen.
And Katie Crosbie was out at Missile Road this afternoon as well, watching as flames engulf some of those homes. And Katie, as we mentioned, that number has risen. Earlier we were saying 3, possibly 4. Now we just heard Barry say as many as possibly 7. A traumatic situation, obviously, for several families. It certainly is, Doug. The smoke was billowing so high and the wind was gusting so hard that it was impossible to see farther than 1 or 2 houses along Lucky Lane. That's where the worst fire was raging earlier, and one man could only watch helplessly as his house disappeared beneath those flames. It's blinding smoke, gusting wind, the kind that picks up dirt and slams it into your face. And those flames ripping first through a field near Missile Road, then racing headlong into a string of homes along Lucky Lane.
I was at work, and one of our house captains for Christmas in Action, one of his friends called and said that he couldn't make it because the neighborhood was on fire. He told me where it was at, and I said, well, that's my neighborhood. I got to get going.
Mark Masman, the man who's helped hundreds of low-income, elderly, and disabled people repair their homes through Christmas in Action, watched as his own home went up in flames.
It is the worst day that we've had. I'm just thankful that, you know, I wasn't in the house and we weren't in the house. Fortunately, our dogs were in the house, but you know, we'll come back. We'll back up and start over again.
His 2 beloved dogs nowhere to be found. As his house crumbled and burned, Masman tried to help his neighbors save theirs. Airmen and onlookers joined firefighters, grabbing hoses, using trash cans to scoop water from bar ditches and pour onto the grass. People wore ski goggles to shield their eyes from blasts of dirt. Masman had a simple request.
Be there, support us, pray for us. You know, when we regroup, we'll figure it all out. But just, you know, this community has always been helpful, so I guess it's my turn for some help. You know, we've been helping everybody. I gotta go.
Is there anything in particular people can help with?
Just community involvement and just stay the community together.
And when all seemed to be lost, just as we pulled away from the command center, we ran into Masman again.
All of a sudden the fireman just walks up and has the dog in her arms. It was a miracle.
His home is in ruins with little left to show that a building ever even existed. But one of his dogs, Bailey, survived.
But, oh, it's a miracle. But it was a scene from a movie coming out there. Thank God for him.
And just to emphasize how awful this fire was, we're used to seeing area volunteer fire departments request help from the Wichita Falls Fire Department, but in this case it was the WFFD putting out a plea for help from local volunteer fire departments.
Everybody needing to help everybody today, for sure. Katie, thank you.
Her aid. We want to warn you that some of the images you're going to see are graphic. The bloodstains spattered on the road speak of the vicious attack.
We were trying to get it with the cars. We were trying to distract them.
It was horrible. It was just horrible. And she was just crying, help me, help me.
They could have killed her, so and that would have just been devastating. It was devastating enough just to see her so defenseless on the ground, you know, pleading for help.
They just ripped her. They had a rip on her head from here to back there. They had cut her right there, and they had sliced her arm so that it swelled up. And they had her arm just like they're tearing at it.
These 3 Jehovah's Witnesses were out visiting the neighborhood when they heard June O'Hara's screams. They joined a college student trying to fight off the dogs.
He come and he grabbed a stick and he started beating at the dogs, and the dogs was trying to attack and bite him.
The Jehovah's Witnesses decided to seek a little divine intervention.
I actually threw 2 Bibles, and they did back up. They backed up when I threw the Bibles at them, so the Bibles did help.
Finally, as first responders arrived, the dogs released their victim. Animal control captured both pit bulls. AMR took June to the hospital.
She was a very nice lady. I don't know her, but she's somebody's mother and somebody's grandmother, somebody's friend.
The first thing she said to me when we saw her in the emergency room is she didn't think she was going to live through it. She actually didn't think she was going to be alive after this. It was that bad of an attack, she said.
June's son, Tim, got to meet the Good Samaritan ladies.
There were some tears of thanks and joy and stuff like that, but I'll find a way to go to their church and thank them somehow. There's got to be a way, but I wish I could really find out who the young man was. He needs to be thanked too.
Tim says he wants something done to prevent this from happening to anyone else.
I do know one thing now. My mom says she'll never go out of the house again to take a morning walk like she has for, you know, who knows how many years, you know, can't think of how many years she's been doing it. So now that's going to tie her up in the house, and every time she walks outside, she's going to be looking over her shoulder.
Tim O'Hara says he has heard that those dogs have chased other people in the neighborhood before and have been reported to animal control in the past. The health department says we'll need to file a Freedom of Information request to verify that information.
Well, I'm glad she's now recovering, Katie. What a scary situation for that lady.
And she's such a sweet lady. She comes to city council meetings just because she's interested, and she's just a sweetheart.
Oh, I hate to hear that. Reports showed Whitefield was driving faster than 80 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone and was not responding to a call at the time of the accident. The police department had also found Whitefield did not tell his supervisor he was taking medication that could impact his ability to work.
Katie Crosbie spoke with Gloria Montoya's older sister, Veronica. Veronica says the possible settlement does not bring the family much peace because nothing can bring back her sister or her cousin, Yenny.
It's the way the Montoya sisters are used to celebrating birthdays. Dad singing and playing guitar, friends and family gathered together, someone shooting video on a cell phone. But this 14th birthday party on January 5th had the heart-wrenching backdrop of a cemetery, Gloria Montoya's final resting place.
I try to imagine what it would be like if I was in your situation, and I can't because it's like a worst nightmare. Yeah, something you don't ever wake up from.
June 30th, 2011, forever imprinted in so many minds. 13-year-old Gloria and her 18-year-old cousin Yenny Lopez together as usual.
They had the same personality. They got along with everyone. They were always laughing, always joking.
Smiling and laughing one moment.
When you talk to them, 5-10 minutes earlier prior to when it happened, and then you just get the call and you're like, she's gone. It's something, it's not easy to accept.
For Gloria's sisters, Veronica and Juana, so close, and their entire extended family, it's been more than 6 months of heartache.
You don't even look forward to Christmas or New Year's or Thanksgiving when you lose someone so close. You actually fear that day to come. And that's what we did. But I guess it's just a part of life.
Veronica says her family is not bitter.
I mean, a lot of people, I guess, hate him for what he did, but in our family, my father, I guess, raised us well to where he didn't raise us to hate anyone or have a grudge against anyone. So we forgave him since the day it happened. So. That's the way my dad taught us. I mean, we're nobody to judge another human being. And that's always going to be us, right? I mean, it hurts. Yeah, because He just snatched a big because she was our everything in our family. Not just our baby, she was just the happiness. It's like our house now is so quiet.
Katie Crosbie, KFDX 3 News.
Back. You know, in this military town, many of you know what it's like to watch families go through long separations during deployments.
And today, Katie Crosbie got to witness a very special family reunion.
Gwen Specialist Che Whitaker and his wife Elia are both from Wichita Falls. This young family had been apart for a year, so it was a very touching homecoming. It was pure, unadulterated exuberance.
My daddy's coming home.
And what are you going to tell your daddy?
I'm going to say, Daddy.
Daddy, Army Specialist Che Whitaker, spent the last year deployed in Afghanistan. Tell us about what you're wearing.
Mommy.
4-year-old Isaiah dressed the part of the Army, noticed the Patriot Guard flags,
Daddy's gonna like them,
and was happy to serve as spokesman for the family. What does your sister think about Daddy coming home?
She's thinking about seeing his dad. Mom is thinking about Daddy can come home in 6 days.
6 days turned to 5, which turned to 4, and the countdown ended with this blissful moment.
Here comes your puppy. Don't go down there. Stay right here.
I've been wanting to get home to him this whole year, so finally home.
Che left the day before their daughter Alexis was born and returned a day after her first birthday.
It's weird because she doesn't know who Daddy is. So I think for me it's kind of hurtful in a way.
But now she will.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be a Daddy's girl for sure.
Now they have plenty of time for bonding, catching up, and just being together as a family.
Definitely grateful for her. Best mommy ever.
Thank you.
Best wife too. So.
Specialist Whitaker replaced his subdued flag patch with a red, white, and blue in garrison patch, signifying his return to American soil. Welcome home, soldier. Thanks for your sacrifice. And we asked Specialist Whitaker, after a whole year of being deployed, where do you even begin on your list of things to do? He said that's easy. The first thing he wanted to do was get his hands around a Sevy's burrito.
Way to start off.
They are pretty special, and thanks so much, Katie. And